Hello everyone, I'm Deborah from DeborahAdele's Craft Room. Today we're going to be painting two turkeys, one on a mini bottle gourd and the other one on a small hardshell pear gourd. These are the paints that we'll be using for this project. They are Americana acrylic paints by DecorArt. The colors are Lamp Black, Red Iron Oxide, Light Avocado, Forest Green, Snow White, Spicy Mustard, and Honey Brown. We'll also be using DuraClear gloss varnish when the project is completely dry. There are two different face styles on the gourds that we're going to paint. One of them has Sculpy Clay and the other one isn't painted on face. What I did for the Sculpy Clay is I got a piece of Sculpy and I shaped it like a cone. Let me see. Then I put a little dot of glue where the beak should go, and I placed it there in the center of the face and set the gourd down so this can dry. I also made a stand for this turkey. The gourd doesn't stand by itself, so I made this instead. It's a piece of Sculpy clay rolled into a ball, squished flat, and then I sat it down on a plate and I pushed the sides down on it. It was still high in the middle, not real high, but high enough. I pushed the turkey into it. Then I put these little feet so that when the turkey stands up in here, let me see if I can get that straight in there for you. There you go. It looks like the turkey has feet. What I'll do is I'll probably paint the base of this, maybe a green or something, and then I'll paint the toes that spicy mustard color. I usually put these on a heart. Get a heart, paint it brown, and touch the bottom of the gourd to a sander so it's just slightly flat, and then I set it on the heart. But I couldn't find the right size heart. This is way too big. So I thought I'll just try something different. Another thing you can do, I had this little slab of a branch of a tree, and you could also touch this to a sander, just ever so slightly, just to make a flat spot, and stand this up on this little perch like this. Let's see if I can get it looking right. Stand this up on the perch and glue it down to there. And if you wanted, you could use this for a favor for your Thanksgiving table and paint a name across there, like Grandma or Aunt Sue, whoever you think. You make a whole bunch of them because they're so simple. The first thing I did to this gourd was paint it with 2 coats of honey brown. Second thing is I set it down, found where I wanted center to be, and that's where we'll draw the face on. Turn this way. First thing we do is the beak. You draw a semicircle like this, and then make a line across so you know, and then make a line across, and then underneath there draw a smaller semicircle. that's the beak. I'm going to change it a little because I think it's too small. I brought the top down a little. Can you see that? And I'm going to make this part of the beak down here bigger. Okay. Now we're going to paint the beak spicy mustard. This is going to need at least 2 coats, so I'm going to set it aside to dry, and I'm going to work on the little turkey. I put 2 coats of honey brown on the little turkey and 1 coat so far on the beak. Carefully going around, you don't want to get any on the gourd of the yellow. Of course, if you did, you could paint over it with the honey brown. Okay. This one is ready. You're going to want to put a wattle on this turkey. Draw down the side of the beak. And up. See that? I'm going to make it a little fatter at the bottom. Okay, there's the wattle. Then you're going to also want to put some eyes. We're going to make the big eyes with the pupils and on this. Let me get them in and I'll show them to you. Okay. You remember those from my other pieces. First we're going to paint the eyes black. You want to finish the eyes before you start the wattle. While these eyes are drying, we're going to work on the little turkey. The little turkey has dip dot eyes. So as long as you have that little puddle of black paint there, you may as well you may as well use it. Okay, one eye. We'll see if we can get them right this time. Okay, two eyes. Two little turkey eyes. With your liner brush, we're going to paint the eyebrows. Okay. And eyelashes. All right. And we're going to let that dry because next we have to put the wattle on. And this should be completely dry when that happens. Okay, the next thing we do to these eyes is put the white on up to the black like we do. That makes it look like it's been lined. One. Okay, I second coated the white part of the eyes. Now I'm going to put the black back in. You just go up and over. There's one. Up and over. Okay. There they are. They look pretty good. Now I'm going to put the eyelashes and the eyebrows on this turkey. Just touch down and pull. Okay. Now the eyelashes, do them on the wattle side first so you know where they need to be on the other side. Because the eye doesn't go down as far on this side. Okay, here's the eyelashes on that side. They're not too close to the wattle. Okay, now try to put them on the other side the same distance up. Okay. Close enough, considering mine are always lopsided. With my number 3 round, I'm going to paint the wattle in. Let me show you just a second. See, the wattle goes up over the eye a little bit. This will need a second coat. While this is drying, I'm going to paint this stem. And I'm also going to paint this red iron oxide. I don't know if turkeys have top knots or not, but mine do. Carefully paint so that it doesn't come down onto the gourd. Of course, you can fix it if it does. If you don't have a stem on your gourd, you can either fill it with that ultralight spackling stuff and sand it flat after, or you can get one. Make sure you get the cut end as well. Usually these don't need a second coat because they're so porous. They just take all the paint right in. So there you go. Doesn't that look cute with that red knot on top? Okay, so next we're going to paint the wattle on the little gourd. This wattle won't go in front of the eye. It's just going to come off the side about there. And you see how that looks? Okay. I'm adjusting it a little. Okay, there you go. Now carefully, you paint up next to the beak with the red iron oxide. If you get it on the beak, you can cover it up with that mustard color. Here we go. See that? Put it back a little. Let's see. Let me see if I can get that better. All right, back to the larger turkey. Put a second coat on the wattle. And then we have to do some line work. Put some water in the black paint to make it thin for lining. And line the wattle. Now we're going to be lining the beak. Line the bottom of the beak. Now when you do across the middle, you're going to want to put a little drawing in there so you know where to line. Okay. See that little jog down? That's the point of the turkey's beak. And you need that line in there so that you know where to do that. Okay. I'm going to touch this up now and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, I have it touched up and I'm going to set it down to let it dry because the next thing we have to do is shade the beak and the wattle. And we're going to work on this little guy again. Okay, putting a second coat on the wattle. Okay, now we have to do a little bit of line work on the beak. Not much. You start at the side and you bring this right straight across. Thin line if you can. And now the other way. Bring it across the front. Okay, there you have it. Now let's line the wattle. Okay. Put a little water on your number 4 flat. Touch it down, because we're going to be shading the beak. Touch it into the red iron oxide, just a little, and shade across the top of the beak. Well, that was hardly any. Okay, here we go. Shade across the top of the beak. Now we're going to shade the bottom part of the beak. Okay. And in a minute, when this dries just a minute, we'll shade the little point of the beak, but until then we're going to shade the wattle. We're going to shade the wattle with black. Now, go down the side. And up to the point. And go around the bottom. And up the other side. This is kind of hard to do, so there's gonna be some touching up. Okay, it's all shaded and touched up and ready for the next step. We're gonna put 2 dots on his nose with red iron oxide. These are his nostrils. Okay, I hope they're in the right spot. Anyway, those are his nostrils. Now, with a toothpick, and some white paint, we're going to put some dots in his eyes. There we go. Okay, and with your liner, we're going to put a line down his wattle. Okay, there you go. Now we're going back to the little turkey. We're going to shade his wattle. Which is going to be a little difficult because it's so small. The smallest shader I have is a number 4 flat, so I just have to be careful. Okay, we're going to let that dry completely before we do the other side. Otherwise the brush will pull it right off. Okay, now we're going to shade his beak because I'm going to go over the top of that line. Just 1 second, I get a little more in there. Okay, and we're going to go underneath and do the same thing underneath the line. Okay. While we're still waiting for that wattle to dry, we're going to put those little white spots in his eyes with a toothpick. One, two. Okay, 2 little eye marks, and then we're going to put the red iron oxide dots for his nostrils up onto his beak. 1, 2. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Okay, now we can do the other side of his wattle. Little bit and shade. Okay, I'm going to put one of those white lines down his wattle, just like the other one. Okay. Okay, there you have it. The big turkey and the little turkey have different ways of finishing the neck. This one's going to have a bow tie. The big one. I'm going to use my number 3 round and light avocado paint. To paint this bow tie. There's the bow tie. It's going to need a second coat. I'm going to put some buttons on this turkey. I have a flat-ended paintbrush. Put it directly under his beak if you can. That one looks good. Okay, now another. I don't know about that one. That's okay. Phew. Okay. We have to let that dry and then we'll be able to finish this one. I'm painting the stem on this little turkey. It was so small, I didn't even notice it till now. If you have to peg in a stem, paint it before you put it in. It's easier. Okay, there. Little turkey top knot. The bow tie is all lined and touched up and ready to shade. Using forest green, shade the bow tie on the bottom. See? Then on the top. And then in the center. Shade a little bit at the ends. Not a lot, you don't have to. Okay, that's what the bow tie looks like. Now with your liner, get some white paint, thinned out a little bit. We're going to paint some lines on the bow tie. Okay, one side. Okay. Then the other. And then a little bit of a highlight on the bow tie. Okay. Now we're going to put buttons on this turkey. With a bigger paintbrush bottom than the one that I used for the other turkey, line it up with the beak. Don't line it up with my bow tie, that's for sure. Okay, there you go. These two turkeys are ready for their tail feathers. I'm going to show you how to do those next. You get a piece of fabric, autumn fabric. I have this, and I'm folded it in quarters first, and then fold it over into eighths. And this is just so you can get the size you want it to be. Down on the table. Now, and kind of guess how high you want the feathers. I would say to the top of its head. I'm going to mark it with a paintbrush because I don't know where my pencil is. Oh, there it is. Okay, now take it off there. And with a pair of scissors, we're going to cut this into a circle. Go through all those layers. Get a better pair of scissors than these. Cut yourself a circle. There you go. The tail is going to be half of the diameter. Now I have a bigger circle, and I'm going to use my turkey, this turkey, and I'm going to set it down, the point of this down, and decide where I want this cut. You can use a compass if you want, or a plate to mark it. And there you go with this. This is another circle. Get yourself a needle and thread. Tie a knot on the end. And start sewing about 1/4 of an inch in. And you make don't make really small stitches. Make it about, what is that? Maybe 3/8 of an inch, and just go around the entire. We're making a yo-yo with this piece of fabric. A really big yo-yo. If you make it too small, the stitches, they'll all bunch up and the hole won't be able to close. Stop near the knot so you can tug the knot out and pull it tight. Cut the strings and start adjusting the yo-yo. Push it down flat and then push the hole to one side, not all the way down, but quite a ways down. And there's your tail. Now this part right here is got to be glued. What I usually do, but I don't know where my hot glue gun is I usually put some hot glue in there and just give it a pinch like that. Don't burn yourself. And then you put this on the back of the turkey. You put that on the turkey, the whole part, and there's your tail. Now, let me adjust that a little bit. Glue it on with some hot glue. Try to make sure this is all tucked in nicely first, so it doesn't show on the back. And then, after you get it on there, you get a button. This is the wrong color, but you get a button and you stick the button on the back, and that's what your turkey's gonna look like. Okay, we gotta put it right. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's your turkey. Now the other one is a bigger circle. And I guess I'll sew this one too. Again, you tie, you pull it tight, cut that off. Adjust it. Push that hole to the center so that those little puckers aren't showing on the outside. Tug and tug, pull, tug, okay, and bring it down to the bottom. Bring the hole down to the bottom by sliding it, okay. Put some hot glue in there, pinch it a little bit, and then hot glue it to your turkey. Let me see how this looks from the front before I show it to you. His stem is getting in the way. If that bothers you, cut part of that stem off. Yeah, it bothers me. I want to cut it off. There we go. There we go. Okay. That's what your turkey tail looks like on this one and on this one. Okay. Well, those are cute, aren't they? Now for this turkey here, you see he has no adornment on his neck. I made a bow and I have some glue. I know gluing things to gourds is not kosher, but that's okay. That's what he looks like. These little ones make such cute favors at Thanksgiving. The big one would be a perfect house gift for the hostess. Now I'm going to quickly paint the base of this thing so you can see what it looks like sitting on the base. I'm gonna paint it with light avocado because I think that light avocado matches. It's not an identical match, but it matches the tail. I've actually never done this before because I always had hearts available or the gourd that would sit down. There. I put some glue on this and I'm going to turn it toward me so that I can make sure it's centered. Okay, there you go. A cute little turkey. I've never done this Sculpy Clay thing before, but I like it because when you squeeze it into the Sculpy before you bake it, it takes on the shape of the bottom of the gourd. You have no worries about if it's going to sit or not sit. You can just find the side of the gourd you like and paint on it. Okay, well there you go. One little turkey with a tail here, with a tail, and one big turkey also with a tail. Show them to you at the end of the week, all varnished up with their tails glued on, and I think you'll like them. Thank you very much for watching my video of 2 turkeys painted on gourds. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell so you get notifications of any future videos that I post. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.